Hey my lovelies, it's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do this Wednesday's Facebook card reveals for you all. For those people asking, today's card deck is The Rooted Woman, which is a new deck to me. Very, very lovely deck. So let's have a look at this. Let's see where the energies are taking us. So if you were drawn to card number 1, we're going into the energies of Old Woman of Dreams, the Maker of Visions. Now, this to me is a really important time to sort of really connect to your sort of spirit guides, your loved ones, your ancestors, whoever you kind of want to call upon, whoever you feel might be helping or working with you. And also I sort of feel this is in a way connecting to your own higher spirit within, because we are all spirit within human form, having a human experience essentially. So the Maker of Visions, this is a really important time to start to sort of obviously give yourself acceptance, give yourself permission to receive everything that you want your life to kind of be, everything that you want your life to become, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. It's quite interesting that she's sort of stirring the cauldron there. And, you know, for those of you that like a sort of cup of tea in the morning or a coffee, that can be a really sort of powerful bit of spell casting. You know, when you're making your brew, just sort of stirring your sort of spoon clockwise, so you're bringing the energy into you and just thinking and sort of manifesting what you seek, what you want. It's a powerful sort of form of spell work, and it's such a simple basic thing, but within that it's just giving yourself that permission, that acceptance to have, you know, whatever it is you want. So you guys are at a sort of stage energy wise at the moment where things are maybe starting to manifest, they're starting to happen, they're starting to become. I don't just sort of see this as actually having the intentions or the ideas of what you would like. I also sort of feel like what you're sending out, things are starting to attract, things are starting to sort of stick and take hold, energy is starting to like physically materialize for you. So if you have those sort of dreams, if you have those things you want to go after, you may sort of feel like that's actually starting to become a reality. Like, to give you an example in my own personal world, for ages, we've wanted to get like a camper van so that we can go, obviously have a few more holidays, but also actually from a business space so that I can extend my tour and do quite a lot of obviously like further afield venues, because we'll have somewhere decent to do it in. So hopefully next year's Spirit Magic tour will be even bigger than this one. And my husband sort of, you know, he sat down yesterday and we were looking at sort of finance options, and he was on about potentially making some changes with his car, potentially selling it off or using it against, you know, something, and potentially maybe starting to look at how we could sort of make that work on a little bit more of a sort of deeper level. So I'm not saying it's set in stone, but if that was to happen, there is actually now the opportunity that that could realistically become. And we were looking at sort of the breakdown of how much it would cost and if we can actually like practically afford it. And, you know, potentially, yes, we could. So the Maker of Visions, it's bringing those visions, it's bringing those realizations into physical reality. You know, it's often said, isn't it, that we have all the time in the world, but we actually don't. You know, this could be taken away from us, from all of us, at the drop of a hat. We've all got this expiry date on our body that we can't see. We don't know it's there, but we know it exists. And there will be a day when this suddenly will be taken. So it's like, I follow kind of a great medium called Craig Morris, and he talks a lot about, his kind of quote is, we're here for a short time. What is it he says? We're here for a good time, not a long time, sorry. We're here for a good time, not a long time. And I think that's so powerful because, yeah, we are here to have fun. We are here to make memories, because that will be taken away sooner than we think, sooner than we realise. And we just don't want to waste the time. So get out there, be fabulous, bring those hopes, bring those dreams, bring those realizations into reality. Do those things that you've been a bit scared to sort of have, or to sort of, you know, give yourself permission to receive, and actually become. It's all about becoming, you know. So whatever it is for you, whether the dreams are small and minor or more big and sort of, you know, fabulous, whatever they are, whatever they consist of, get out there and make them happen, because it's your time. Now then, as we're moving into card number 2, we're going into the energies of Bog. and we're going into stagnation. A lot of people have been feeling like this at the moment. So many people I'm talking to are struggling with like their mental health or their general well-being, or they just feel like it's 2 steps forward and 20 steps backwards. I think also we could see this symbolically as bog, you know, the ground that we're sort of physically walking on for a lot of us is quite boggy at the moment with all of this blinking rain, with like gardens and walks and everything else. So that can also be quite interesting. So feeling a little bit stuck, you know, feeling a little bit weighed down, sometimes feeling like we're in this kind of boggy sort of energy, or a little bit like quicksand energy, and it's hard to negotiate, it's hard to walk through. You know yourself, when you've been walking through sort of boggy sort of waters, or the ground is quite mushy and it doesn't feel like it's offering you that sort of foundation, it feels like it's all sort of, you know, really squelchy. Things just feel like they're very fragile. They can feel like very topsy-turvy. And the stagnation, it just feels like nothing's really moving as quickly as you would like it to. But I think what's really important, you might sort of find that you're in a stage where you're having to just stop and breathe and catch your breath. And if stuff isn't quite going to plan, if things are perhaps not working as you would like them to, I sort of see this card a little bit as like surrendering to the experience. So it's almost like having to just accept this is the reality. We can't change the land that we're on. So we have to perhaps change the process or how we negotiate moving through stuff. What I find really important with this card is you have the cobweb and you have the little spider. Now, sort of spiders and cobwebs are very powerful because they represent sort of weavers of sort of dreams. So a bit like with this card, it's all about catching those dreams. You know, it's often sort of said in times of old that spiders were used to create these sort of webs, to sort of literally use them as sort of nets to kind of catch your dreams, your intentions, and they sort of can still manifest, they can still become. So even if you're feeling stuck, even if you feel like it's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, don't drop the ball on yourself. Stay in your truth, stay in your power, because it could be that there's some stuff happening beyond your control and you may just literally have to sort of wait for that boggy land to sort of settle, to dry out. But eventually, it's remembering with bog, the land won't be wet forever. There will be a time when it dries and it becomes like a firm, it becomes hard again, and those foundations become solid again. So perhaps you feel at the moment like your foundations are being knocked about a little bit, but stay focused on your kind of truth. Stay focused on your visions and how you want things to be. Don't drop the ball on yourself when you're sort of feeling fragile. And I think this is part of what it means to be truly spiritual. You know, going to loads of demos, having loads of readings, doing all those things, you know, having a load of crystals, that doesn't make you spiritual. Being truly spiritual is how we sort of live day to day and how we're guided by our own moral compass and the size of our heart. And I think when things get rough, when things get compromised, when sort of some might say the shit hits the fan, it's in those moments that our true spirituality matters the most. So it's in those moments to believe in yourself the most, to be gentle on yourself, to really embed your spiritual practices and your spiritual values, because they matter the most in those moments of vulnerability. Anyone can be spiritual when things are great and kind of fabulous. It's in those moments of sort of, you know, rough terrain, that's when it truly matters. So something to think about there. And finally, as we're going into card number 3, we're going into the energies of cave, and it just says here incubation. And I sort of feel as I look at this card, I'm almost feeling like there's a need for people to retract. I feel there's a need to sort of be hidden a little bit. This is feeling quite similar to the Hermit card for me in conventional tarot. So it could be for some of us at the moment, maybe you've been people in too much, maybe you've been out and about, maybe you just feel like you've been part of too much energy and maybe it's all got a little bit overwhelming. Maybe you're literally at the moment sort of like, you know, putting quite a lot of pressure or a lot of expectation upon yourself. Maybe you've been working very hard and haven't really given yourself much of a break or a breather. Maybe just from a mental space, some of the expectations that you're placing upon yourself are slightly high. I'm not saying that they're unrealistic, because I'm sure that they are things that can be achieved, but maybe you're just placing a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation upon yourself to deliver. And to me, this is about finding sacred space. So, you know, cave, and it's interesting it's a bear, because obviously bears go and hibernate for a bit of time. So I sort of see this as have a bit of rest, have a bit of chill, have a bit of hibernation. It doesn't necessarily have to be for long, but don't burn yourself into the ground for the expenses or the sacrifices of other people or physical things that you feel you're having to provide. You know, you can only be who you are, and that's your best gift to the world. So, you know, don't be too hard upon yourself. And if you are feeling tired, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are needing to just have some time away from everybody, whether it's a detox from social media or from physical people, or just needing to be on your own, or just literally needing to sort of process and make sense of life, go into that sacred space, go into that place that you call home, or where you feel most happy, and just turn the world down a little bit. Because as I hold this card, it sort of feels like, I almost like to sort of see these patterns as like radio frequencies, and it feels like around you, everything's just got very loud at the moment, and it's finding a way to just turn it all down a little bit. And a cave, going into a cave, is a bit like sort of symbolically going into a womb, going into sacred space almost. So I feel there's a bit of that going on. So be kind, be gentle to yourself. So I hope you can make sense of these cards. I'm going to leave them with you. Have a beautiful week ahead. Just a couple of reminders that this Friday you can catch me over at Colour and Crystals in Trowbridge. I believe there are still some sort of spaces available. So if you'd like to come and see me for an in-person private one-to-one reading, drop Jo a message at the shop and she can get you booked in. She does the bookings directly, so she'll let you know what times are available. And then on Sunday, the next date of my Spirit Magic tour, I am going to be over in Frome. It's going to be the only demo that I do in Frome this year. So Foxy's Den, 7 o'clock doors open, 7:30 start, ending at 10 o'clock. There's a bar. What more could you want? Mum will be there with her stall as well, with lots of sparkly kind of goodies. I've done Foxy's Den quite a few times. It's always a beautiful night. The staff are great. They always make me feel like loved and so welcome. And it's always lovely to do Frome, because obviously I'm from, you know, I was brought up in Frome. So it always feels like I'm coming home when I do Foxy's. So if you're interested in buying a ticket for that night, pop over to the website. It'll be great to see you there. And yeah, looking forward to it. So have a beautiful week. Look after yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.